Hello, everybody. It is time for the moment that you have all been waiting for. The reveal of the round one matchups to kick off Old School Legends 2021, the second iteration of the Old School Legends tournament, hosted by yours truly, and of course, with the assistance of my boys in STC. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. But before that, I want to apologize for my awful mic quality. My blue snowball that I've been using for almost 8 years seems to have finally bit the dust, you know. I got it for my birthday back in 2013, and it served me well. But now it seems like that blue snowball doesn't want to work, so I'm sitting here using the fucking the microphone in my fucking earbuds, you know, those Apple earbuds. back when people used wired headphones. Yeah, I'm using that mic. It's all I got, bro. Anyways, right into the first matchup here. We've got PGM versus Light Dragon 773. So everyone knows PGM, the GOAT. He was the best player in our community for like 4 years straight. You know, best player in the Gen 5 and Gen 6 eras. He had a very, very respectable performance in OSL 2020. Didn't win, but he ended up getting third, losing in the semifinals to Okami. But PGM, you know, every battle he had last year, he showed that he still got it. He had, again, a very admirable, tough tournament run. He didn't have one of these easy brackets where he had people drop out on him. No, he had to fight every single round, and he had some grueling matches where he just still clutched them. In particular, that last game against Michael. I mean, to be honest with you, even though it was only in round 2, I think PGM versus Michael was probably my favorite set of OSL 2020. That set was insane, and I never did commentate that set. I should do that and upload it so that people can watch it. But yeah, that performance of PGM last year, even though he didn't win the tournament, I think he showed that he still got it. So all things considered, I did put PGM at the first seed. I'll explain seeding at the end of this. I'm just gonna go through matchups right now. So I'm gonna just do the matchups, and then I'll explain my rationale behind seeding. And also, I'm not going to do predictions in this. I'm going to do a separate video later, maybe with some other people, where we're going to do predictions. I'm not going to do predictions right now, but this is just revealing the matchups. So, PGM's opponent, of course, a formidable foe in his own right, Light Dragon. Light Dragon, as I explained in the OSL server, Light Dragon, you know, he fucked me up in the first Wi-Fi tournament that I ever entered. He fucked me up in round 1. He beat me very, very convincingly, honestly. And yeah, I thought I was out of the tournament, but then he uploaded his video of him beating me, and on the preview of the recording on the Versus recorder, you could see he had a Garchomp on his team. And the reason we didn't know this was because he never had to use it against me in the battle. That's how bad he beat me. But we saw that he had Garchomp on his team. Well, I didn't notice. Josh was the one that noticed. Shout out to Josh. He was also in this tournament. Josh noticed, and he commented about it and informed the tournament host, Evan, Dragon Garchomp 12, about it. And Evan, you know, Garchomp was an Uber at the time, so Evan, having a strict no Uber policy, overturned Light Dragon's very convincing win over me. And I advanced to the second round. I won in the second round. I then went to the semifinals where I fought Evan himself, the host of the tournament, and I beat him, and I made it to the finals. So who knows, Light Dragon could have ended up winning the whole tournament, given how badly he beat me. But, you know, we don't know. We just don't know. Light Dragon was also the only person who I know of who was able to beat Crystal in 2010. Those of you who were around for the bracket creation last year know how I feel about Crystal as a battler. You know, she was the best in that era. For at least a short period of time in Gen 4, Crystal, I think, was the best. So, Light Dragon definitely very skilled back in the day. Does he still have it? I have no idea. Haven't seen him battle in a very long time, but this is going to be a very interesting battle. The Battle of the Dragons, right? PGM the Dragon versus Light Dragon. So, going to be a great battle, I think. Looking forward to it. Our next matchup. This one is crazy. Okami versus VG. Now, Okami, you all know him. He had a shocking breakout performance last year. Ended up getting second in the tournament when he wasn't even seeded in top 8. The thing with Okami is we've always known that he's good. It's just that he never played. Like, he would never play seriously. And we really didn't know the extent to which he was capable of whooping ass, you know? But man, did we see it last year. He came through and he beat PGM. He was the first person to beat PGM in OU in who knows how long, dude. I can't even remember the last time I saw that happen. So, Okami, the Dragon Slayer, ended up getting second, losing to Josh pretty badly. But that's besides the point. He had a very impressive performance, and hey, he's my boy, my STC boy. But I don't know how this battle is going to go because he's fighting VG. Now, VG did not get to show off his skill quite as much as I would have liked last year because he had to fight Josh in round 2. Now, Josh ended up winning the whole tournament, as we all know. But VG put up one hell of a fight against Josh. Ended up 6-0ing him in one of the games. And it did go to game 5, but Josh just had more clutch factor than VG on that particular day. But definitely VG showed in that battle, even though he didn't win, the VG still got it. I wouldn't fuck with him. Look, I mean, VG, the thing with VG is he's never really won anything. And I don't say that in a bad way. It's just, I mean, part of it is just he didn't enter a lot of tournaments or anything. But when he did, he would usually perform extremely well and beat people who were very good, but he would never win. He was always like consistently like number 2 or 3, you know? But that consistency is very dangerous. Until you get to the finals, like if you're fighting him in early rounds, VG is a threat. So I know I said I'm not doing predictions, but I couldn't even begin to predict this set. I mean, this is going to be such an interesting set. This is really the set I'm the most excited for. Okami versus VG. Hey, it's a Texas showdown. We got another Texas showdown. We had multiple last year. We had Cam versus Josh. Dude, Josh just had a Texas bracket. I just realized. Josh fought Cam, Texas showdown in round 1. Texas showdown round 2 versus VG. Then he had me. He had a break. And then he fought Okami in the finals. Josh just had a Texas bracket last year. But hey, we've got another Texas showdown right here. Okami versus VG. And I'm looking forward to it, man. Because these battlers are, like, these two are just very different battlers, I feel. So that's going to be a very interesting set. Like I said, I can't even begin to predict that one. It could I mean, obviously any of these battles could go either way. But Okami versus VG could truly go either way. I really don't know. I feel like that's a coin flip. Alright, our next matchup is me versus Michael. So look, I know what you're all thinking. You're probably thinking, like, I don't know, it's a little egotistical to put myself at the 2nd seed here, you know. but like I said, I'll get to the seeding. I don't know. Maybe you're not all thinking that. Maybe that's just what Josh is thinking. But anyway, this match gonna be very interesting. Obviously, Michael did not go very far in the tournament last year, but he showed that he has some great potential in his battle against PGM. He took PGM to game 5, which is not an easy feat to take 2 games off of PGM. Almost 3. That Gen 8 game 5, was very close. So look, Michael's got it. he's always, he's been good since like Gen 5. He's always been a consistent battler, I feel. I have only battled Michael once before, and that was in 2011, Gen 5, round 1 of Mad Gamers tournament. How the hell that happened? Well, I can tell you how. It's people didn't do seeding back then, so you would get random matchups where really good players would fight each other in round 1. So Michael and I, both in our prime at this time, frankly, battled in round 1 of Mox's tournament back in 2011, and I won. And that was the only time I ever battled Michael, so I got a 1-0 record over it. Speaking of lifetime record, I'll go back. Okami and VG have never battled, so nothing to go off of there. And PGM and Light Dragon, as far as I know, they have never battled either. But I could be wrong on that. But I cannot find any record of PGM and Light Dragon battling. So our first 2 matches, brand spanking new. Me versus Michael. We've battled once before, and it was a very long time ago, and I won. So, take that with a grain of salt. Anyways, Michael had a great performance last year, relatively speaking. I mean, you can't. I know, obviously, you can't be like, yeah, no, he did great. He lost in round 2, but he did. He had a very graceful loss. Like I said, it was my favorite set of that particular, of really all of OSL 2020. But yeah, Michael was also in that tournament that Light Dragon and I were in. Basically, 5 out of 8 of these participants were in that tournament that Evan hosted. Me, Light Dragon, Michael, Josh, Evan. Michael lost in round 2 of that tournament. But that was 2010. That was before Michael got really good. So, the tournaments I've been in with Michael in the past, I've always outperformed him. But I mean, again, this isn't a prediction video. This is just data for you to go off of. And I really do think that, like, Michael, I don't know, I'm a little scared. I just think Michael's got like the ability to go the distance. Will he? I don't know. Let's talk a little bit about me. Not too much though, because that'd be kind of weird. I got 3rd last year, tied with PGM for 3rd in OSL 2020. I lost to Josh, who ended up winning the whole tournament. I'll just stop it there. We don't gotta run through my whole resume, But yeah, me versus Michael, a rematch 10 years later. 10 years since I've battled Michael. And then our final match is a true classic, everybody. A true classic. Josh versus Evan. I'm so glad that I'm going to get to see this happen just one more time, at least. Could happen again in losers, because we're doing double elimination this year. But, Josh versus Evan. You all know Josh won last year. He won OSL 2020, so, he's rocking in the free world. I mean, what else can you say? He won the most stacked tournament that, like, our community has ever had. So that's Josh right there, man. That was really the first opportunity he ever had to prove. He had to prove himself, and I think, he's got even more to prove here. Because I think if Josh wins this tournament, he's the undisputed GOAT. I think we gotta revoke PGM's GOAT status. I think Josh surpasses him if Josh wins this tournament, But he's gotta get through Evan first. Evan, of course, a formidable foe. Having hosted and participated in a number of tournaments back in 2010 and 2011. And, let's just keep it 100. Him and Josh played a lot back in the day. And they really went back and forth. They went back and forth as far as I remember. I don't think... There may have been, like, periods of time where one would be a little dominant over the other. But these 2 players definitely played a lot back in the day, and I think their lifetime record is probably about even, if I had to take a guess. So, it's really hard to say who's going to win this one as well. I think that this is going to be an amazing battle. Like I said last year, these are the 2 players who really taught me how to play competitive Pokemon. I had played a little bit before I started battling them consistently. Actually, no, I think Evan was like one of the first guys I battled. But before I battled them like a lot, before I went into like boot camp mode with these guys, I played and I didn't really improve a lot. The first few months I played, I didn't really improve a lot. But then when I started just battling Josh and Evan every day and just started getting advice from them, that's when I got good. That's how I learned the game. So I'm seeing my two teachers battle. I think this is going to be a very hype battle. I'm looking forward to it. And again, frankly, it's been about a decade since it's happened. Probably, definitely. I think it was probably like late 2011 last time they battled. So, well, Josh stopped playing in like September of 2011, I think. So yeah, it's been a long time since these two played. That's all I'm saying. But it's definitely a classic that I'm looking forward to. Alright, so seeding. I wanted to seed not just based on like skill, which sounds weird, but I also wanted to seed to make sure we got the best round 1 matchups possible. So with seeding, I took a few things into consideration. One was OSL 2020 placements, which is obviously why Josh shot up so much since last year. You may remember he was a 6th seed. Yes, 6th seed last year. Now, granted, Jared and Crystal are absent from this, which were the two players that I had above Josh last year. But even if Jared and Crystal were here, I would see Josh above them. So, obviously, OSL 2020 placings matter. They count for something. But also, the tournament is called Old School Legends, so I took into account Legacy, of course, which is why I felt that PGM and I should still be above Josh. And then the final thing, which is how I determined some other spots, is that I wanted to get matchups that were hype and also avoid matchups that like had already happened. So for example, the main reason I put Evan over Michael isn't because I think Evan is necessarily better than Michael, but because if I switch them, I would be fighting Evan. And we already had me versus Evan last year. Now, obviously, there's going to be some repeats from last year. Obviously, that's just going to be the nature of it with a double elimination 8-person bracket with a lot of people returning. 7 out of 8 people in the tournament participated last year, so I understand that. But I didn't want to have repeats in round 1. I wanted round 1 to be all fresh, new matchups that we didn't see a year ago, And that's what we got here. And I think these are all very hype. I like the 2 dragons. I like Okami and VG just because that's such a weird matchup. They're such different battlers. And I know they've never battled before. And then we've got me versus Michael, which is kind of cool because it's like, there's a little bit of beef there. There's a little bit of beef there from the STC days. And then we got Josh and Evan, which is just the long lost classic, and my 2 senseis battling each other. So that's that. So there you guys go. There's the round 1 matchups. I'll let you know when to have them done by. You guys will have some time. I haven't set a due date yet. I'm just getting these matchups out there. And stay tuned for more OSL content. We're gonna be doing a prediction video, and that's where you're gonna get all my really hot takes. And I think that's gonna do it. So thank you all for watching, and best of luck.